Congratulations, Dr. Veibhav Sahay, for your rank 21 in All India Dental exam. So, can you just share with our viewers that how was your preparation in, and how has your journey been for the last 1 year that you have been preparing?
Thank you very much. Last 1 year had been, as you can all guess, it has been all about preparation, and only one thing which occupied my mind is that I have to get a seat in All India PG exam. So whatever I did, whatever I studied, each and every activity of my day-to-day life was revolving around that. So basically what matters is you should be determined. Whatever happens, either good or bad, you have to take the positives out of it. Like suppose some you might get a setback in some maybe some exam, you might not get a good rank, you might miss out on a very narrow margin, or people will come and tell you that it might not happen, it's purely luck based, or it's not easy to get and there are so few seats and a lot of people are giving this exam. But always believe in yourself that someone who's going to crack it will be like you only, and the only difference between him and you is that he's determined and you are not. So what matters is not what you study or not how you study, that it is there, but what matters the most is that you should be determined and you should be having a strong will that you will do it, and you will do it if you believe in yourself.
So, how was your study pattern like? Which subjects to concentrate on more?
Uh, See, if it depends. Like if you are, I'll tell you about AIPG, All India PG exam. Study pattern is you have to have a good knowledge about your clinical subjects, which are your dental subjects. Dental subjects will be all which except for I think we have to cover the whole of pulse, and you have to have a thorough knowledge of it. I won't say that you have to learn word by word, or you have to memorize dental pulse, or you should know the answer of every question, but you should know why the answer is so, and if that is wrong answer, sometimes they give the wrong answer, if something is wrong there, why is it wrong? And do not shy away from reading textbooks if you need it. I'm not saying go by cover to cover or read everything, but if you need reading textbooks for some topic or something which you have confused in, or something which has been asked very often, it is better to go to a textbook and read it from there rather than going to some MCQ book and seeing 100 MCQs or 400 MCQs or 500 MCQs, or reading pulse. Pulse is you have to read pulse, but if you are having a textbook, and because reading a textbook will solve many questions which are going to come, which have not been asked yet or which have not been even framed yet. So it's always good to read textbooks selectively for some topics which are very important. Clinicals, I will recommend that you read textbook, the standard books which are there for each and every. I think everybody knows which are the standard textbooks for each and every clinical subjects. And basic science, read pulse. Whatever have you made notes, or if you have read in BDS days, whatever there you read, because they don't ask much of basic science from pulse and all. They ask you medical questions in from Murid Khanna, Amit Ashish, and the questions which have been asked in their AIPG, ME, and AIMS medical exams. So you need to read them, and I can't just say enough about it, how much it is important for dental exam, because as you can see, if you see the last year papers, almost 50% of paper is from their side, from medical side, and in that there are many repeats from Murid Khanna, Amit Ashish, and their papers. So read those papers, at least know the answers, and try to get as much as explanation you can read from them, as much as feasible for you. Might not be possible to read everything in that book, it's a very comprehensively covered book, but you can always try to clear your concepts, because there are many things which are very basic things which sometimes dental students don't really focus on when they are preparing for their in their 4 years. They don't really see those small things in medical subjects. So it's better to read the basics in that book, because they are very concisely given and very precisely given it's designed for an entrance exam. So Murid Khanna Mehta is a very good book. Read the explanations for the subjects like micro, patho, physio, biochem, and maybe general medicine. After that, you can just memorize the questions if you want, or you can even skip it. But in these 5-6 subjects, you need to be thorough with it. If you are having any other book, like for basic science, you can read, their subjective books are there. Pharmacology, Sparsh Gupta, across is there for basic sciences. Then the 3 or 4 other books are there, but always make sure that you don't over stress on it. Divide your time accordingly every day. Divide your time into clinical and basic science. Do not give more than, if suppose you're reading for 12 hours, do not give more than 3 to 4 hours for basic science. Rest 8 hours you have to study clinicals, because clinicals, they are going to ask you very good questions. It's not like they're going to ask very easy questions. Sometimes people don't get clinical subjects and they tend to do well in basic science. So I think don't over stress on basic science. Read Murud Khanna with Ashish. Read Dental Pulse, because it is good, important for other exams other than AIPG for basic science. And clinicals, you have to do whole of Dental Pulse and read books. There are some other books for All India PG which they keep on changing books. Sometimes they pick from somewhere. So don't go by that. If they have picked last year from this book, I'll read this book 5 times. Don't do that. If you have like 6-7 extra books, try to read each book twice rather than doing one book 10 times, because it is a very high chance that it won't be repeated from this book again. So there are like 5 or 6 extra books which are there, and you must be knowing which books are these. Ritu Duggal, Manisha Prabhakar, then Satish Chandra, all these books, just go through it once, and when you start studying before AIMS and after AIMS and before AIPG, if you do it even thrice, it's enough for you to memorize it to recollect in the exam. So that is for clinical sciences. Clinical sciences, we go for MCQs because we can't read each and every book, each and every stanza. And for clinical subjects, which topic has been repeated again and again, it's better to go for read the textbook and then do the MCQs. So, anything else?
How was your study pattern? How many hours did you put in? I think most
Okay,
of them are, they are like,
okay,
this is a big question. So,
okay, actually I was working also. I had a job in my college from 8:30 to 4:30. See, in between I had a break of 1.5 hours from 12:30 to 2. During the whole day I used to I tried to take as much time as I can for my studying. Between 12:30 to 2 I used to go to the library. Between 8 to 12:30, whenever I'm not doing patients or I'm not doing any work, I was with the books. And after 2 to 4:30 also, I was repeating the same thing. If I'm not having any work that time, I try to study whatever I can in that time. After 4:30, I go to my room, take a short break, have some sleep, and then we go to the library. From 6 o'clock, I used to generally start studying from 6 o'clock in the evening, and then try to stretch it as much as I can. The most important thing in this, that I did not study like I'll just study for 12 hours today, or I'll just study for 14 hours today. I made a schedule. Like if I'm waking up I used to wake up at 6 o'clock or 6:30, and I always made a schedule that from 6:30 to 8:30, when I'm reaching my college, or maybe 8 o'clock, I'll read this for the whole year. And I can say that there are hardly any days which I did not follow it. So I followed that part. I made a schedule for each and every hour of the day, whichever is fixed, and then I followed it like rigorously. So if you do that, there is nothing like, during the exam, you won't feel any pressure. See, exam pressure will be there anyways, but you won't feel like you have not done stuff. You won't be sick, it won't like, you can do like 20 books and you won't even know that you have actually done 20 books, and you will be remembering also if you follow that pattern, and there will be no pressure before any exam. Like you don't have to, like before AIPG, you don't have to mug up everything, like I have to revise Murud Khanna 55 years papers and Amit Ashish 6 years papers. When you're doing it from the last 1 year, you don't even try. You don't even have to read it like even more than once, I think, because by that time you have done it so many times that it's imbibed in your memory. So the most important thing is manage your time well. Always tell yourself that your only aim right now in this year is getting a seat. After that, everything is there. So try to keep one thing in mind, that most important thing right now is getting a seat, and everything will revolve around it. If your job, see, many people ask me whether you should join a job or not. I can say on that, my job allowed me to study for some time, but if you have a very demanding job, like from 8 to 4:30, you cannot study at all. Leave that job if you are serious about studying, if you are serious about PG, because when you get a PG seat in All India PG, you will get a good stipend, and that will matter a lot, because whatever you are going to earn from this job, that will be compensated there, and you'll get a very good degree, MDS degree. So if your job is not allowing you to work, or if study, or if your job is not allowing you to follow your routine, or you get too tired after it, leave that job. I would have done that if I would not have to study, if I couldn't study. So that is important. Have a good routine of, have a good schedule of what you are going to study, and be determined, and make your priorities, set your priorities right. Your job is not your priority right now. If it is so, if you are like very much into jobs and you have to do it, then also it can be done. It might take you a bit longer. It's not like if you are working and you cannot. I know people who have got good ranks after working also. So it's not like it can't be done, but that might take a bit longer. Be with it. Persist for as long as you can. Never say no that you cannot do it, and you will be doing it once.
So how dance has influenced you?
Yeah, DAMS has played a big role, because DAMS is, needless to say, is the leader in medical PG coaching, and dental PG coaching also. They are making very good strides, and I think it will be, the day will come when it will be a leader in dental also. And see, any coaching institute has a big role in motivating the students, and I got very much motivated by our leader, Dr. Gaurav sir, and Sumer sir, no doubt. So looking at these people, you see that you get inspired that this can be done. And there are people who are standing behind you whenever you feel doubted, or whenever you feel lonely, or whenever you feel weak. These people will encourage you to work hard for it, and that is what is the most important part of any preparation. If you are encouraged, if you are up to it, if you are willing to fight the odds, studying is not a big deal. Then you can easily study. But the only thing is your motivation. That motivation is given by a coaching institute, and I think DAMS is doing a tremendous job in that.
What was your exam day preparation like, and how many questions you attempted?
Yeah, exam, before the exam I tried to relax, but let's be honest, I was very nervous before the exam, and I didn't know what to do this year. Like I did the usual. I just did 2-3 years of previous year papers of AIPG AIMS, and one medical paper, and just try to keep myself calm, relax, don't take tension, do not study a lot one day before the exam, do not stuff your brain with facts and figures and everything before the exam. Take some sleep in the evening, afternoon also, maybe 1 or 2 hours, sleep very well in the night, and on the day of the exam, just take it as any usual exam. Because if you take it too seriously, the All India PG exam, if you take it too seriously, your mind starts to think differently. See, when you study, you are very relaxed, and when you give the exam, you are very tensed. So if you want to score well in the exam, you need to be in the same mindset with which you are studying. And when you get very tense, you tend to make silly mistakes. I did make silly mistakes in this exam also, but that's something that no one can avoid. But try to avoid it as much as you can. So I would say that on the day of the exam is something that anxiety will come, everything will be there. But once the exam starts, and when you are once you are done with some questions, you will see that no, it's not that tough, or maybe you will get some tough questions in the beginning. Just keep your calm, read the statement, don't read the options first hand. If you are like, suppose it's a very big question and it's a new question and you know where does it come from, just read the statement. Read the statement twice or thrice, then go for the options. Then talk to yourself that what is this question, or how much. You see, no one is like a very Einstein kind of genius in this exam. Everyone is like you. If you have worked hard, you are at par with them. Only thing is, on the day of the exam, someone has lost his cool and someone has kept his cool. So you have to keep your cool. Suppose the question is very tough, leave it, go ahead, go. There will be a very easy question coming soon. So on the day of the exam, try to not panic a lot. Try to talk to your friends. If you are having friends there on your center, talk to your friends, make jokes and all, but don't panic. And number of questions which I attempted was, see, a lot of people ask me how many questions you should attempt before the exam. Before the exam, you can never say how many questions you're going to attempt, because it depends on the paper. If the paper is like, it depends on the paper, it depends on the level of your preparation. Suppose the paper is very tough and you are also not very well prepared, the question might be low. The number of the attempt you which make is very low. But go for the first shot, the questions which you think you can answer, and the questions which you might apply, if you apply a bit of your knowledge, you can answer. Because in AIPG there is a negative of +4 -1, so I think you can take a chance for, like, maybe if you are attempting out of 200, you can take a chance of 50-15 out of 20 questions, 20-25 questions. And believe me, if out of 20-25 questions, if you studied well the whole year, out of those 25 questions, 10 or 15 will be right. Because this has happened with me, and it happens with everyone which I know who has scored a rank. So because you should trust yourself. If you trust yourself, because someone else will be trusting himself, and he will take a chance. And if his chance is right, you will be lagging behind. So never limit yourself when it comes to attempt, but don't attempt rashly. Like, if you don't know anything and you just ABCD choosing like that, don't do that. And I don't think anyone who's serious will do that. In this exam, I attempted around 191 questions. My goal was not that high. I think I attempted more, but I think after talking to my friends and all, I think it was a good score. It was a good number of attempts. I did some very silly mistakes, but I got some questions right which were not at all of my knowledge. So it will be like that. You will be doing questions wrong which are very well from your knowledge, and you will be doing questions right which you don't have any idea about. So that's a mixed bag of, like, positives and negatives. So try to attempt as much as you can. Don't rush into questions. I would say in any APG exam, don't go below 180. If you are willing, if you want to ensure a seat, don't go below 180. Above, it depends how many you do. I did 191, but there are people who did 195, 196, even 200. So that depends on you. But do not go below 180, I would say. A 180, maximum 175. 175 is a short, actually, not below 180. 180 is the minimum you should attempt.
And what subject would you like to specialize in?
Specialization, I think I'm torn up between orthodontia and endodontics, so I still have to decide about that. But let's hope that I get a seat, maybe in ortho or endo. Yeah. Thank you. All the best.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Aditya, and I got AIPG rank 14 this year, and AIMS November rank 5. To start with, I would like to tell you that this wasn't my first attempt. Last year also I got pretty decent rank. My AIMS rank November was 100, AIPG rank was 400, and May rank was 75. The basic difference which I found between last year's preparation and this year's preparation was I changed not only my entire pattern of studying, but I found the weakness, or you can say where I was lagging behind. And that was that I was reading and reading and reading. I wasn't paying much attention where I am lagging behind. See, we have like 19 subjects, and when we start studying, we tend to think that, we'll start studying from first year subject like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and as and when we move on, we start finishing our micropathology, but then you can say pharmacology, and by the time we reach our clinical subjects, the initial subjects which we have read, anatomy, physiology, it's almost gone. So that is the biggest mistake which I think I did. You shouldn't start your basics, just basics, or you shouldn't start just your clinical. You should start with both. Divide your day into 12 hours. 6 hours you'll study your basics, 6 hours you'll study your clinical. Also, this is just the starting. For people who are also doing their internship at the same time, try to manage at least 12 to 16 hours a day from not only just the starting, but I think November onwards, because November onwards is a pretty decent time when you should start studying, because to be honest, we don't really remember what we have started in the first year, what we have read in the first year. So you need to get a grasp on the basics, like anatomy particularly, because that is one subject you can say you can't cram it up. Micropathology, pharmacology, to some extent you can cram it up. If you can understand the concept, that is nothing good other than that. But your clinical, it is even far than just cramming it up. You need to understand the concept, because the new questions which comes from clinical, you can easily solve it. And the person who has done that, I'm pretty sure they have all got the ranks. Also, your basics, you need to start studying your Mudit Khanna, Amit Ashish, even individual books like Sparsh Gupta for pharmacology, your anatomy, your micropathology, biochemistry. You need to start reading your textbooks first, because if you start simply doing your pulse, you can understand, okay, this question is there, this is the answer. I have known people who can, with your eyes closed, they can recite questions from pulse, but they couldn't make through, because see, only 5 to 10% questions directly come from pulse. You can say that, okay, fine, this question has been picked up from pulse. Questions which do come from pulse, they are not direct picks. Those are the questions which roam around the same topic. Those are the questions which roam around your those are the questions which will roam around your biochemistry, your TCS cycle, your Cori cycle, your glycolysis. Okay, so you need to understand what the cycle is. You shouldn't understand, what your pyruvate dehydrogenase does. You need to understand where it happens, because if any questions come around that cycle, you will be able to answer it. So take your subject topic wise, not question wise. Also, the important thing is how many hours you put in. A lot of my friends or juniors, they have come that, sir, you study the whole day, I have always seen you in the library. See, the basic thing when you have started studying or when you are taking a drop is, you need to be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter that you are studying 16 hours a day. It doesn't matter you are studying 10 hours a day. You need to be honest with yourself that, okay, fine, I sat in the library for like 14 hours a day, but how many effective hours was I studying? I have seen people who are half of the time sitting in the library, doing Facebook or doing chatting here, roaming here, not exactly reading the book. It is better to read 2 hours a day, but that 2 hours of effective study will last for a longer time than 12 hours of studying. Like half of the time your mind is, okay, what is my friend doing there? What is, I need to go and watch a movie. If you think like going and watching a movie, go and watch a movie. No one is hindering you. But see, if you are sitting in the library studying and your mind is somewhere else, you are actually not studying. You need to be literally honest with yourself, put in the effective hours and never clock yourself.